Good morning, students. Today we are going to start a new chapter, that is computer network. It is also a new unit 2. Previously we have learned unit 1. In unit 1 we have learned all about Python language. Now we are going to learn computer network. This is theoretical chapter. Okay. And we have to understand a lot of things, lot of networking things, computer networking technologies, tools, okay, in this chapter for computer science. See, first of all we are going to learn what is a computer network. A computer network is something that provides salient features, salient features which have made our life easy and comfortable. What is a computer network? First, understand its features, its advantages, that it facilitates us, makes our life easy and comfortable. Say for example, sending an email. Sending an email is only possible due to computer network. Previously what we have to do, we have to write something on paper, then then put it in envelope, put the address, send it to post office will send the mail to some other person, like this. So many peoples are needed to do to sending a mail earlier, but this time computer network make it very much easier. Just write something on computer and say, put an email address and send it to the person, and immediately it will be transferred to the concerned person. Another example, withdrawing money from ATM. It is also possible due to ATM machine, due to networking. Okay, online railway reservation system, ticket reservation, airline ticket reservation system, sharing of audio and video files. So many things become very much easier and also comfortable. Okay, so these are the advantages of a computer network. Now understand what is a computer network. Means what is the definition of computer network? Two computers or devices are said to be interconnected if they are capable of sharing and exchanging information. The most important part of computer network is that it must be capable of sharing and exchanging information with each other. Sharing and exchanging information with each other by following a protocol. Protocol means some rules is needed during communication. Say for example, if two people are talking over phone, so and at the same time both people started saying something, then no one is able to listen other person's what is saying. Okay, in the same way, in computer, if one computer is sending some data to another computer, then the other computer must use some protocol and must wait to receive the information. Okay, until the information is completely received by one computer, then only that computer is able to send something to other computer. Like this, these are the known as rules, okay, which must be followed during exchanging information in a computer network. Okay. See, this is an example of computer network. Okay, how they are interconnected with each other. See, internet is connected with hub, and in between there is a firewall which protects unauthorized access from other person. Some domain systems, server systems are connected. Websites and files are already loaded here so that other person can access these files. Wi-Fi router is connected with the hub so that wireless systems can also access the internet. Okay, so many users computers are connected with the Wi-Fi hub. This is switch or hub, okay, which connects all the components of the computers with each other in a computer network. Okay, some users are connected, some printers are connected. Here any person through wireless or through network, through wired, they can send any information to internet, they can take print out. So many features are there, okay, in a network. See, a computer network A complete computer network connected with many different types of devices on computers. You see the example, so many different types of devices are connected with each other. This is known as a computer network. Okay. Now see advantages of computer network. A computer is a collection of interconnected computers. What is a computer network? Is a collection of interconnected computers or other devices to share data and other resources. Okay, what is the major purpose of that computer network? To share data and resources between the computers, among the computers. And what are resources known as? Hardware, software. These are the resources. These are the computer's resources. Hardware parts, say for example printer. Printer is a resource for a computer. Okay, and this resource can be shared among different types of network devices, so that any person, any user can use that printer and take printout. Okay. Softwares are also resources of computers. Some softwares are installed in one computer, other person wants to use that software, so in network there is no need to purchase separate software for that computer. They can use the same software which is already installed on one system in a network. Also a network uses a distributed processing system. In which, what is distributed processing system? See, a task is divided among several devices which are interconnected with each other. A task is divided among several devices which are interconnected with each other. Therefore, instead of a single computer being responsible for completing the entire task, okay, therefore, instead of single computer being responsible for completing the entire task, all the interconnected computers are responsible for completing the task assigned to them. Understood? Means all interconnected computer is responsible. Now, responsibility is shared among different types of computers. Okay, so a task is completed with the help of so many components, so many devices. This is known as distributed processing system, and these are the advantages of computer network. For completing, it is only possible with the help of computer network. This leads to better performance with high processing speed. What? Better performance and high processing speed. Suppose so many people will engage in doing a single task, then that task will be completed within a limited time, within very less time, as compared to done with one computer, one device. Okay. Now other advantages are, so many advantages are there. Other major advantages are there. First of all, resource sharing. What is this? Resource sharing. Resource sharing means the primary use of a network is to share among users program. Okay, primary use of a network. We talked about these things several times. That resource sharing means sharing capability. Only due to this purpose, computer network is very much helpful. Okay, and only this purpose computer network is used to share among users. What we have to share? We can share programs, applications, data, peripheral devices connected to the network, irrespective of the physical location. Wherever it is connected, it can be used with any person, any devices. Now, improved communication. The computer network enables fast, reliable, secure communication between different types of users. It saves time and offers easy communication method. It saves time and offers easy communication method. Just type the email address and send the email. Just click send, it will be sent to the other person. Okay, this is known as advantages of computer, and it is improved communication. Reduced cost is also reduced. Okay, sending the same mail via post office requires so much cost, so many people, okay, so much time. Now it also reduces cost. Sharing resources also reduces communication cost. Internet and mobile networks are playing a very important role even in this pandemic in sending and receiving text. Yes, even in this pandemic, sending and receiving text is text, image, audio, video, okay, at low cost, very low cost. And reliability of data. Reliability means backing of data. Data can be copied and stored on multiple computers. Okay, so data is not going to be lost. Okay, they are saved on multiple computers, multiple devices, multiple mobile systems. So the reliability of data must be there. Okay, and it can be accessed by any person. Now, central storage of data. Files can be stored on a central node, the file server, that can be shared and made available to each and every user in an organization. File can be stored on a central node, file server, that can be shared and made available to each and every user in an organization. Suppose in an organization everyone needs some information, so those information can be stored on a single central computer, and this single central computer is known as server and connected with each and every computer, so everyone is capable of receiving those or viewing those files, those data for everyone. Okay, now this is simplified. Central storage is known as central storage of data. Okay, now evolution of network. Anything which comes in existence does not take one day. Okay, so the network did not evolve in a single day. Okay, it did not evolve in a single day. Rather, it took decades to become more powerful, efficient, and reliable. The network has passed through several stages which are described below. Several stages. See, ARPANET. First of all, a project is designed and developed that is known as ARPANET. The full form of ARPANET is Advanced Research Project Agency Network. Okay. And what is this ARPANET? See here. ARPANET, which was jointly designed and named by the Advanced Research Projects Agency. Actually, an agency is designed, okay, and developed. The name of that agency is Advanced Research Projects Agency, and US Department of Defense, DoD, both in combination, was the first network came into existence in 1969. What is that network? First network, ARPANET. Okay, Advanced Research Projects Agency Network. It was a project that connected a handful of computers at different universities and US Department of Defense. Okay, and from universities, some handful computers from at different university, and is connected with the Department of Defense, US Department of Defense. For what purpose? For sharing of data and messages and playing long distance games and socializing with people to share their views. Okay, for social networking also. This ARPANET project is developed and followed. Okay, later NSFNet, National Science Federation Network. National Science Federation Network is developed. And what is this? In mid 80s, okay, this is the 70s talk, and this is 80s. In mid 80s, another federal agency, NSFNet, National Science Federation Network, created a new network, his own network, okay, new network, which was more capable than ARPANET, okay, more powerful, more efficient, more reliable than ARPANET, and its main aim was to use network only for academic research, okay. Later, many private companies combined with own private network with ARPANET and NSFNet. Later, so many private companies came into existence. They designed, developed their own network and connected their network with ARPANET and NSFNet to make more capable and broad network, and which is also called the network, the internet. Okay, it is the internet that links two or more network to make a large network for sharing of information messages. See, ARPANET plus NSFNet plus private networks is equal to internet. In what is internet? It is a combination of ARPANET, NSFNet and private companies network. This becomes internet. Okay. See the brief history of internet. Okay, day by day we see hereby. First of all, in 1969, ARPANET becomes functional. ARPANET project, our Advanced Research Project Agency Network, with the help of ARPA, that is a network agency, and with the combination of Department of Defense in 1969, ARPANET becomes functional. Later in 1984, ARPANET has more than 1000 individual computers linked as host. In 1984, ARPANET has evolved so large network it becomes. And then again in 1986, NSFNet, National Science Federation, connects NSFNet to ARPANET and becomes known as internet. Okay. Also with some private companies network, okay, it becomes internet. Now in 1995, NSFNet terminates its network on the internet and resumes its status as research network. Means NSF, National Science Federation, comes out of network. Okay. At the same time, the internet becomes popular among public. Okay. This NSFNet comes out of the network and it resumes, okay, its previous work, that is the research work, academic research work. So NSFNet is not a part of internet nowadays. Now internet, what is internet? It is just a network of computers, computer networks, and so large computers which covers the whole globe, whole world globe. Okay. Now in 1996, Internet 2 is founded. Internet 2 is founded now, which is today's internet. Today more than 550 million hosts connect to the internet. Now you understand, this is the history of evolution of internet from 1969 to the today's network. You can see how much development is given. This is also one of the history of network. You can see here. Okay, from first ARPANET in 1958, ARPA agency is developed. In 1962, ARPANET project was developed, and in 1965 this is implemented. Okay, and then NSFNet came into existence in 1983. Okay, now in 1993 internet is evolved. Okay, history, this is the history of the internet. Now in 1995 the World Wide Web, the internet, comes into existence. Okay, now history of the internet in a nutshell, how internet is evolved during the years. Okay, so much years or days are very much important. Now come to some definitions. What is internet? Definition. Okay, definition of the terms internet. So first of all, we will learn what is an internet. How can we define an internet? In 1990s, internet, which is a network of networks, came into existence. When it comes into existence in 1990s, means in the 1990s decade, it comes into existence. And if we precisely say that in 1995 internet becomes global, becomes publicly acclaimed, publicly renowned as internet. Okay, the internet has evolved from ARPANET. The computers are connected through World Wide Web that comprises a large network and shares a common communication protocol. What is that protocol? Transmission Control Protocol, Internet Protocol. We will learn this protocol later. It allows computers of different types to exchange information and is known as Internet. Millions of domestic, business and government networks are connected with each other for the purpose of sharing files, data, emails, videos, so many things. It can be shared. Now next topic is interspace. Interspace is a software. Okay, it is not a network, it is a software that allows multiple users in a client-server environment to communicate with each other by sending and receiving data of various types such as data files, videos, audios and textual data. Actually, it is a software which software is used on network, internet, and what type of network internet is needed? It needed client-server environment, and it can send information, receive information, communicate with each other with the type of certain data files, videos, textuals in a 3D environment. Okay, it actually makes a virtual 3D environment, and during this environment we can share information. It facilitates online real-time exchange of data. Interspace is the most advanced term of communication available of the internet today. Actually, interspace is the most advanced term of communication available in the internet today. Now see, how does internet work? Internet is a global collection of networks. It is a global collection of networks, both big and small. These networks connect together in many different ways to form the single entity that is internet. Okay. Every computer that is connected to the internet is part of a network, even the one in our home. Okay, in our home a computer is there, a mobile system is there, and connected with the internet, it becomes part of internet. Okay, network, global collection of network. Since its beginning in 1969, the internet has grown from 4 host computing system to 10 of millions. Okay, at the beginning in 1969 only 4 host computers are needed, and now it contains tens of millions of computers. The Internet Society, a non-profit group established in 1992, oversees the formation of the policies and protocols that define how we use and interact with the internet. Oversees the formation of policies and protocols that define how we use and interact with the internet. So many things are there. See here, continued okay, see, at the source computer, what happened actually during communication between computer over internet? At the source computer, the message to be sent is broken down into small parts called packets. Okay, means the information which we want to send to some other computer, first that message is broken down is in smaller parts known as packets. Now each packet is given a serial number. Okay, some number is given 1 2 3, like for example 1 2 3 number 1 2 3 4 5 in each packet in a serially. Okay, serial numbers. Now all these packets are sent to the destination computer over the network. Okay, over the communication path, over the wire, over the wireless. Okay, these packets are sent to the destination. Now the destination computer receives packets in random order. Random order means, okay, it may receive number 4 first, number 10 first. Okay, this may happen randomly. These packets will be received by the receiving computer, the destination computer. The packets are reassembled in the order of their number. Now what happened at the destination computer? These packets are arranged, reassembled in the order of their number, and then what happened? Message is restored, means message is displayed that this message has come. Okay, this is the working of internet in small packets. See, every computer connected to the internet uses the same set of rules for communication. Every computer connected with the internet uses same set of rules. Same set of, what are those rules? A set of rules is called protocol. It is called protocol. We know that a set of rules is called protocol. Now communication protocol used by internet is TCP/IP. Which protocol is used? Which rules of communication it uses? Internet uses, that is TCP/IP. And the full form of TCP is Transmission Control Protocol. Transmission Control Protocol. Now what is the purpose of this protocol? The TCP part is responsible for dividing the message into packets. Now its responsibility is that the message is converted into small packets on the source computer and reassembling them at the destination computer. This is the work of TCP. Now the IP part, what IP does, the IP Internet Protocol is responsible for handling the address of the destination computer to that the packet is sent to its proper destination. Means IP is responsible for handling the address and it send the information from the receiving computer from the receiving computer to the destination computer. Okay, from the source computer to the destination computer. IP is responsible to sending. Okay, packets must be in proper order or proper destination, it will be arrived. And TCP works, it works is to divide the message in packets, smaller packets, and again reassembling the packets on the destination computer. Okay, understood? Now an elementary terminology of network. Some terms is given here, we have to see here. First term is nodes. Nodes means workstation. The term node refers to computers that are attached to a network and are seeking to share resources. Node means each and every computer which is connected with the internet is known as node. Okay, why we connect with the internet? Because to share resources, so attached to a network and are seeking to share resources. Now server, the computer that facilitates the sharing of data, software and hardware is resources of the network, is known as resource. Computers, okay, actually it is the larger computer with lots of RAM and disk spaces with lots of computing capability. Now it facilitates sharing of data, software and hardware resources to the network. Next is network interface unit. Okay, that is MAC address. Okay, a network interface unit is an interpreter that helps in establishing communication between the server and the client. Actually, network interface unit is a hardware part, is a component of computer which is attached within the CPU. Okay, within the CPU to make communication with the internet and connect with the network through wire or wireless. Okay, so it is an interpreter that helps in establishing communication between the server and the client. IP address what? Every machine on a TCP IP network has a unique identifying number called an IP address. Okay, each and every machine which is attached with the internet is given a unique number. That number is known as IP address. Okay, and it comes in four groups of numbers separated by dot, and each group is having a number from 0 to 255. Okay. Now domain name, we will learn these things later in detail. Domain name, it is a way to identify and locate the computers connected to the internet. It must be unique. It is a way to identify and locate the computers connected to the internet. It must be domain name. Actually, domain name, what is name? Suppose a domain name is cbsc.nic.in. It is a domain name. Okay, so when we type this address in a browser, it will locate the computer, okay, and connect it to the internet, okay, and display the information, display about that information, and it is unique. Okay, so different names for different computers. This is domain name. Now next is elementary terminology continued. Internet service provider. Actually, these are the terms which will be helpful during learning about the computers. These are the technical terms used in network, internet. So this is next is internet service provider, ISP. In short, it is known as ISP. What is this? It is a telecommunication company that provides access to internet usually for a monthly fee. Say for example BSNL, Airtel, Jio. These are the internet service providers. Now POP, point of presence. The POP is a place for local users to access the company's network often through a local phone number or dedicated line. Actually, this is a dedicated line or phone number, local phone number, which is known as PAP, for lower users to companies to connect with the company's network. This provides a number, and that number is known as POP. Okay, point of presence. Next is network access point. It is a connection point to a network where a transceiver in a wireless local area network connects a wired local area network. Actually, the network access point is a name given to a Wi-Fi network. First, Wi-Fi network is connected with a wired network. Through wired network, it provides a connection point. It is a name actually, which is used to connect other computers, other nodes with the network. Okay. Now see the gateway. Gateway is a device that connects this similar network. Okay. When the network become bigger and bigger. Okay. So different types of networks are connected with the internet. Different types of network, different types of architecture, different types of protocols they use. Okay, these are known as dissimilar networks, and gateway facilitates to connect those dissimilar networks with the other dissimilar networks. Okay, it is a connection point. It provides a connection point between different types of networks, which uses different type of protocols, different types of rules and regulation, different types of architecture. Gateway provides a communication tool. Now backbone. It is a centrally interconnecting structure that connects one or more networks, just like the trunk of a tree. Backbone is a trunk of a tree, trunk of an internet. It is also known as trunk of an internet. Without backbone, internet cannot work. And it is a central connecting structure that connects one or more networks. Components of a data communication. Components of a data communication. A network comprises several components. Okay. A network is having several components along with their functionalities that contribute to its smooth functioning. Actually, a network needed several types of devices, several type of computers, several type of server systems, several type of connection point. Okay, so that the functionality that contribute to its smooth functioning, so that the network works smoothly. To form a network, a lot of hardware devices are required, which are described below. A lot of hardware devices are required, which are required below. See, what are those? Hardware part. First, it needed sender to send a computer. It may be a computer, it may be a mobile device, it may be a machine. Okay, a device or a computer that sends the data. This is called sender. Next one is receiver. It is also a device, that is computer, mobile system, or any machine which can receive some data. Okay, a device or a computer that receives the data, it is known as receiver. Now the message, the material which we want to send from one device to another device is known as message. Message in the a message is the information to be communicated. It may be text, image, audio, or video. It may be text, image, audio, or video. It may be written, it may be picture, it may be audio, it may be recorded audio, it may be recorded video. Okay, so many streaming videos, live videos may be there. These are the messages. Now next one is transmission medium. It is the important part of the network. Transmission medium, through which we can transmit one information to another device. It may be wired transmission medium or a wireless transmission medium. See, a transmission medium is a physical path through which the data flows from sender to receiver. Physical path, it establishes a physical path or sometimes logical path through wireless systems. Physical path through wired system and or logical path through wireless system. Okay. Now next one is also important, that is protocol, a set of rules that governs data transmission. Okay, this is known as protocol, and it is very much needed. Protocol needs while communicating, while sending some information or receiving some information. This is known as components of. What are the different hardware components of a computer? See here. Okay, this is computer, laptop. This is network adapter. It is also known as NIC, network interface card, or NIU. It is also called NIU, network interface unit, or simply adapter, network adapter we can say, and it fits inside a computer. Okay, so that we can connect wire communication or the wireless communication. Next one is printer. This is also a component of a computer. This is router. Okay, so that it will provide internet connection to all the devices, or connect all the devices for different purposes. See, this is iPad. This is software. Networking software is needed to make a network. Okay, sometimes these softwares are already available in our computer with the operating system. These are the components. Okay, components of a data communication network. It may be hardware or software also. Okay. Next one is mode of data transmission. How can we transmit data? Data may be text, messages, audio, video, pictures, images. Okay, these are known as data. What are the modes we can transmit data from one device to another devices? See, okay. First mode is known as analog or broadband. Analog signals, we are using these analog signals during phone calls. Phone calls uses analog signal. Okay, audio waves is the analog signal. See, the signal, radio waves. Okay, the signal is a radio frequency signal or analog. The radio frequency signal. Okay, the tower or the mobile SIM. Okay, these provide analog communication. Okay, radio frequency signal. It can consist of continuous analog signal, analog or broadband signal. The signal is a radio frequency signal or analog. It can consist of continuous electrical waves. It comes in a waves that are of varying amplitudes. So many variation in their waves. Okay, it may be high waves or low waves. This is known as amplitude, varying amplitudes. Telephone network uses this type of transmission. All the telephone network system uses this type of transmission, which is known as analog signal. And it requires, during analog signal, requires modem for transmitting data over baseband medium. Okay, what is needed? Modem is needed during analog transmission. Next one is digital or baseband transmission. Okay, see, what is this baseband? No special device for communication of signal to be transmitted over baseband medium. No special. Okay, during analog system transmission, modem is needed, but during digital signal, digital to digital signal, there is no needed of any special device. Okay, for conversion of the signal to be transmitted over baseband medium. The signal is a group of discrete electrical units which is transmitted in rapid succession. What is this? And what is digital signal? Okay, see, the signal is a group of discrete electrical units. Electrical signal is there, which is transmitted in rapid succession. Okay, within computers, all the data, all the information is transmitted from one component of computer to another component. Okay, these are done with the help of signals, like electrical signal, and this type of transmission is known as digital signal. Within components of the computer is a digital transmission. Okay, next one is parallel communication. Parallel communication means when data is transmitted through multiple wires, with each wire carrying each bit, is called parallel communication. Okay, parallel communication means there are multiple wires. So many wires are there, and each wire carrying separate bits. Okay, this is known as, at the same time, each bit is carrying some bits and transmitting from one device to another device. This is known as parallel communication. Next one is serial communication. When bits are sent one after another in a series along a wire, there is a single wire. Okay. In parallel communication, there are more than one wire, multiple wires are there. But in case of serial communication, there is only one wire, and each and every bit, all the bits is sent one after another. This is known as serial communication. Okay. See, synchronous and asynchronous data transmission. There is another type of transmission that is known as synchronous and asynchronous data transmission. When sender and receiver synchronize their checks before transmission. Synchronize means both the system must be ready, the sender and the receiver, at the same time, so that the sender, whenever the sender sends some information, at the same time the receiver receives the signal. This is known as synchronize. So before transmitting, the devices should check for the synchronization of their devices, so that at the same time the sender or receiver will receive the information. The sender, for how it is synchronization can be done, the sender first sends control characters to the receiver and then sends the actual data. How it is done? First, the sender sends control characters, some characters to measure the synchronization, and the receiver receives the control signals, and the acknowledgement for the receiving of control characters is sent back to the sender, and it sends that the devices are synchronized. Only then the actual data is sent. Okay, it is called synchronous transmission. What are the advantages of this synchronous transmission? Faster than asynchronous ones. It is faster as compared to asynchronous mode. And some disadvantages there. It is costly and complex setup is required. Costly and complex setup. In asynchronous transmission, data is preceded and succeeded by a start bit and stop bit respectively. Means there is no synchronization checks. Okay, before sending any data, there is no control characters is to be sent. Just directly it sends the actual data, but there is preceded and succeeded start bit and stop bit is attached with the actual data. Okay, so that it must be at the receiving point, it understands that this is the starting of a message and this is the ending of a message. This is known as asynchronous transmission. So there is no synchronization is required. Some advantages there. Hardware required is simple and cheap. Okay, very simple and cheap requirements, so cost reduces here, and no complex setup is required here. But some disadvantages there is slower than synchronous mode. In synchronous mode, faster communication can be established, but in case of asynchronous transmission, the transmission is slower as compared to the synchronous communication. Okay. Switching techniques. Actually, while sending some information, some data from one device to another device over a network, there are so many ways. Okay, there are several ways of sending data. From one node to another through network. It can be in the form of calls. Through calls we can send some information. Messages, typed messages can be sent through SMS or email. Okay, etc. Now the technique of sending data across the network, the technique of sending data is known as switching technique. What it is known? Switching technique. Okay. In a computer network, various switching techniques are used to transfer packets of data. We know that in internet data is sent in a small packets. All the data is first divided in packets, and these packets are sent through communication channel. Okay, so to transfer the packets of data, computer network, okay, uses switching techniques. Which techniques? Switching techniques. What are those techniques? We will see later. Just here know that it is named switching techniques. Okay, from one port of a node to another. Okay. There are various types of switching techniques. What are those switching techniques? See, circuit switching, packet switching, and message switching. There are three types of switching techniques: circuit switching, packet switching, and message switching. One by one we will make it clear what are those things. First, switching techniques. This provides end-to-end connection between two computers. End-to-end communication, the physical communication or the logical communication between two computers. It provides complete communication, end-to-end communication. Circuit switching is established usually in a telephone network where one person is making a call and another is receiving a call. Where it is used, this switching technique, this circuit switching technique, it is used in telephone network for making calls. Okay, for making calls. This circuit switching technique is used. Okay, and it makes an end-to-end connection. Now, in telephone system, the communication must be established between the two participants, that is the sender and the receiver, two participants. The circuit is established between these two participants before the transfer of data takes place. The circuit is established between the two participants. First, what is there? This circuit is established, okay, between two participants before transfer of the data takes place. Circuit switching is a connection-oriented service. It is a connection-oriented service. In this technique, there is a dedicated link between the sender and the receiver. A dedicated link between a separate link. A separate link is needed to transfer data from one sender to another sender, and no other call can be made during this link. Once the link is established, one dedicated link, there is no other call can be made during this link, even if the link remains idle. Idle if no information is sending from from sender to receiver. Even that time, no other communication can be done. Only one circuit, one connection can be established in switching circuit. See through picture you can understand it very well. See, this is the sender and this is the receiver. Okay, the sender makes a communication. So through all the nodes, all the station, it makes a physical connection, end-to-end connection. All nodes are connected directly to the sender, okay, to the receiver. This is receiver, this is caller, like this. Okay, understood? The following action takes during circuit switching. During circuit switching, okay, these actions, these processes or these works are to be done. Step 1. In step 1, a request signal is sent by the sender to set up the connection with the receiver. A request signal is sent first by the sender to set up the connection with the receiver. It establishes a physical connection, okay, between the two participants. Physical connection between the two participants. Request, send request signal by the sender and the receiver, and in circuit switching it establishes a physical connection. Okay. In next step, all intermediate nodes are identified. Intermediate nodes, okay, within the from receiver to sender or sender to receiver. In between, so many nodes are there which helps in making the physical connection. So these nodes must be identified in second step. These nodes are also called switching nodes. These nodes are also called switching nodes. Now in step 3, if the destination node is available, it sends back the acknowledgement of the receiving a signal. Okay. First it checks that the destination node is available or not. In third step it checks that the destination node is available or not. Then it sends an acknowledgement, a message, okay, and information to the receiving, that signal is receiving. Hence data transmission begin. Once acknowledgement is received by the sender, then data transmission starts. Okay. In the fourth step, when the data transmission is complete, the call can be terminated. Once the transmission is complete, the call can be terminated like this. You can see here the picture says, okay, see, this is the receiver, this is the sender. Okay, here communication is going on. In between, these are known as the switching nodes. Okay, and these switching nodes in circuit switching makes a physical connection, direct connection from sender to the receiver. Okay. Next one is the second one, switching technique is packet switching. In packet switching technique, the entire data is divided into small fragments called packets. Okay, you must wonder that this packet switching is used in internet mostly use packet switching. First what it does, it fragments the data or the message which is to be sent from sender to receiver in packets. That divided message known as fragmented message is known as packets. Each packet is one of a fixed size. Each packet is of fixed size, usually 128 bytes or 512 bytes. Each packet has a source address as well as destination address mentioned on each packet, and this is known as IP address. What is known as IP address for being transmitted. Packet switching offers a connectionless service. Okay, it is connectionless service. And what is circuit switching? Circuit switching is a connection oriented service, connection oriented network, but it is connectionless service. Data is fragmented into small packets, and each packet is of fixed size in packet switching technology. Okay, and these packets are sent through different nodes to the destination node. Okay, and these packets may be received at the receiving end in random order. Now these random order packets are arranged there and message is obtained in packet switching. Okay, now see how it works, how packet switching works. As there is no direct connection established between the sender and the receiver, each packet follows different routes. Okay, it is not known to the packet that which route is to be followed, so each packet follows different routes, and therefore the packets are delivered in a random order at the destination order. Okay, destination address, it receives each packet in random order. Okay, the third may come first, the fourth may come first, like this. Okay, and then once all the packets is received at the destination address, it is the TCP protocol which then arranges all the received packets in a sequential order. At the destination address, what it does, when all the packets are received, it is then arranged in sequential order to obtain the message, and this is done by TCP protocol. Okay, sending is done, dividing the packet and putting the address on the packet, IP address on the packet, is done by the IP protocol, and this delivering of packets to the destination address is the work of TCP protocol. Okay, During the transfer of packets, each packet has to pass through several intermediate nodes. So each intermediate node checks for destination IP address. If the packet matches with the node address, it is received, otherwise it is passed on to the next node until it reaches the destination IP address. Okay, so many things you can understand it by this picture. See here, this is the mainframe computer, this is the receiver, this is the caller. Okay, caller means it is the sender. Okay, here the data is sent from this node. Okay, now these are the intermediate nodes. See, it does not make any physical connection between the receiver and the sender. So each node receives the information, sends the packets. Information is divided in packets. Each node finds different routes, and then it arrives at the destination or the receiver end in random order, and then there is the message is arranged and message is obtained. Okay. Message switching. In message switching, the sender sends the data to a switching office first. First sends the data to the switching office first, which is often stored in a buffer. Then message is stored. It then checks the available link, and if it is free, the data is relayed to another switching office. Relayed means resent to another switching office when the link is free. Okay, this process goes on until the data is sent to the destination node. This process goes on until the data sent to the destination. Okay, as the data is first stored in a buffer and then sent to the next switching office, it is also called store and forward switching technique. Message switching is also called store and forward switching technique. Okay, because first the information is stored in a buffer, in a memory, and then it checks the link. If it is free, then it resends to another switching office, and this process goes on until the data is received at the destination end. Okay. This is done in the message switching, and this message switching is used mostly in SMS service. SMS. Okay, you can see that if your mobile is switched off, and whenever you start your mobile, okay, then all the message will one by one it comes in your stored in your mobile. Why it is done? Because information is stored in buffer, in memory, in switching offices. Once your device or destination is available, all the messages forwarded stored. So it can be understood that the messages are stored somewhere in switching office. Okay, message switching is a store and forward switching technique. Store and forward switching technique where there is no direct connection. It is also connectionless, as packet switching is same, message switching is, it is no direct connection, connectionless communication is there between the sender and the receiver. Store and forward method. Now see difference between switching circuit and packet switching. First we will understand difference between switching technique and switching and packet switching. What are the difference? First, switching circuit switching. It reserves the required bandwidth in advance. Yes, it is fast technology as compared to packet switching because it is direct communication. Okay, it requires a dedicated path. Here, if the path is overloaded, the call is blocked and communication is delayed. It is mostly used for phone calls. It is less efficient as the link is solely used for single user. And here the message is received in the same order as it is originally sent. Same order. Okay. In packet switching, what it is? It uses bandwidth as and when required by the packets to be transmitted. Okay. As and when required. means that more than one communication can be done during packet switching. It is a slow mechanism for transferring packets from sender to receiver. It uses dynamic path. Here packets are allocated to different paths. It can even handle network data. It is more efficient because the cost of the link is shared by many users. Yes, many users is there. Here the message is broken into small packets which are randomly sent from source and received in random order at the destination, and then arrange it and message is obtained. Okay, these are the differences. Now some more terms are there, data communication terms. First we will understand what is a channel. A channel is a communication path through which the data is transmitted from the sender device to the receiver device. It is just a communication path. Communication path may be wired or wireless, so it is known as channel. Next is baud. The number of changes in a single signal per second is known as baud. Okay, the number of changes in a signal per second is known as baud. It is the measuring unit. It is just a measuring unit of the data transfer rate. Technically, baud refers to a number of discrete signal elements transmitted per second. One baud represents only one signal change per second and is equivalent to 1 bit per second. One baud is equivalent to 1 bit per second. Next one is bandwidth. The amount of data that can be passed along a communication channel is given period of time. Once again is termed as bandwidth. Okay, the amount of data which can be passed, means transmitted from one location, one node to another locator through a communication channel in 1 second, in one period, is known as bandwidth. The measuring unit is hertz. Okay, where 103 hertz equals to 1 kilohertz. 103 hertz equals to 1 kilohertz, and 103 kilohertz is equals to 1 megahertz. Okay, understood? Here measurement system is different. 103 hertz equals to 1 kilohertz. Now data and signals. Information that is stored within computer system and transferred over a computer network can be divided into two categories: data and signals. Data are entities that are stored in the form of 0 and 1, okay, which conveys some special meaning to the computer system. When this data is transmitted over from one place to another, it is converted into signal. Understood? This data is converted into signal. Okay, this data is converted into signal. Signals are electric or electromagnetic encoding of data and are used to transmit data. Electric or electromagnetic data. Signals, high voltage or low voltage. Okay, this data, which is in the form of 0 and 1, is converted into electrical signals, and electrical signals means high voltage or low voltage. This is the relationship between data and signals. Now data, more communication terminologies is there, terms is there. Communication or transmission media. It is a means of communication or access line of communication set up between two organizations to exchange data information. Okay, means of communication. Means of communication may be wire or wireless. Okay, communication media is the way of transmitting the signal from one place to another. Communication media is also known as transmission media. It plays an important role in sending and receiving of data. To and from the sender and receiver. Next is data transfer rate. It is the amount of data transferred in one direction over a link divided by the time taken to transfer. It is bits per second. It is measured in bits per second. The various measuring units are both bits per second and bytes per second, have been abbreviated as BPS, small BPS, or baud. Kilobits per second is written as kbps. Okay, capital B is there. Megabits per second, mbps, capital B is here. Gigabits per second, gbps, capital B is there. Now terabits per second, tbps. These are the measurement unit of data transfer rate.